So today was the Pokemon 30th anniversary, and they had a presentation, and I didn't watch it. My girl watched it. She showed me some stuff, but overall, I generally just don't care. Like, I care because it's upsetting me, and I'm upset because I want better for the Pokemon fandom. Like, people liking Pokemon and people enjoying Pokemon doesn't bother me. I'm fine that people like Pokemon. Like, even I played Pokemon Legends ZA, through memes and sources, but like, I got into this series to connect with my girl, but I do have history with it. But the point is, with this next gen Pokemon that's gonna be on the Switch 2 only, and like, it's like I see all these people getting hyped for it, and it just I feel bad that they might get let down. Does that make any sense? I feel upset that there won't be any consequences to Nintendo if this game does not succeed. Right? Like that, like it's hard to make sense, because this is like, I'm upset on the behalf of other people who are happy with the way things are. Right? So I should just not care. I should just be like, be happy, whatever. But like, at some point, I worry, how far does Nintendo have to fall? How far does Game Freak, the Pokemon company, how far do they have to fall before they irreparably damage Pokemon as this nostalgic childhood thing? Right? Does that make any sense? Like, I don't know. Like, the Pokemon company can do better, but they're not. And right now, people are clinging to that feeling that Pokemon gives you. Right? So right now, I'm in r/Pokemon. I just pulled up some random fan art that I found on Google, and I'm gonna go through the subreddit a little bit, because like, this is some fan art. Pokemon has inspired this person to create this. Right? They were inspired to create, look at this. Inspiration. This is what, like, just off of these images, they created evolutions for these Pokemon that they know hardly anything about, because it's a love of the series, the game, everything, right? And it's just like, I feel like Nintendo doesn't respect this. They don't care how much this means to you. Look at this. Look at this. This is a JJK crossover with Pokemon, where you could look, they look like haunters. They could just be like silhouettes of Kangas. No, that's the baby, ain't it? I don't know. But you see how much this means to people, and it's beautiful. I genuinely feel good. Like, I like seeing this. I like seeing the creativity that is born from Pokemon, right? And it shows that it means a lot to the people who are in this community. So I'm just like, why can't Nintendo return the same enthusiasm and the same love to their fans that their fans give to them? Like, look at this. I don't even know if this is real or not, but look at how people are falling in love with this game, and how inspired they are to create artwork. I don't have a mouse pad, so my thing is super jittery, but it just sucks that Nintendo doesn't like see this and want to do better. The Pokemon see this and the Pokemon company see this and want to do better. And I got really, really mad, because they just throw out whatever. Like, I don't want to use the term slop because everyone calls everything slop, but Pokemon Legends ZA was such a disappointment. Like, you know how in you watch, like, okay, just getting off topic, but you look at the small details in Pokemon games. I'm not talking about the trees or graphics. I really don't care about the graphics of a Pokemon game, especially on the Switch or Switch 2 or whatever. What I care about is that they care about the game world. The world that you live in inside of Pokemon, right? It's like more and more stuff are getting cut out of Pokemon. Excuse me. Every, like, re-release, right? And sometimes they add stuff in that makes up for the loss of other things. Like, for example, in Arceus, Legends of Arceus, they didn't let you fly, first of all. That's crazy that they give you a flying Pokemon at the very end, but they don't let you fly. They give you this weak ass glide that is like kind of trash. You know, they limit your traversal Pokemon to like these specific ones, but thematically, story-wise, it makes sense, so it's fine. And, you know, it helps build the world up, right? So, yeah, you can't ride whatever Pokemon you want. You can't fly around your Charizard or your Salamence or your Dragonite, or is it Dragonair? But basically, you can't drive around. You can't fly around. You can't run around, you know. But the reason for those things are story reasons, and they fit within the universe, right? At the time period. Man, fuck, I'm tired. Right, and that it's like, okay, fine, that's cool. You know, I kind of wish that, you know, we could still fly on whatever Pokemon we want, ride on whatever Pokemon we want, swim whatever Pokemon we want, but, you know, I'll take some lore and like story quality reasons for why we are limited to these few Pokemon to traverse the land. Then Pokemon Legends ZA comes out, and you would think, okay, they're gonna limit you to just the city, and then they're gonna have these weird wild zones with such a small area to work with. You think they would put as much detail and like lived in experience in the game? Like, that's not the right term, but it's to make the world feel alive and feel connected and make it feel like how people imagine Pokemon to be, right? How they envision it in their minds, right? Because you don't have to do a whole lot. You don't have to work with 7 different cities, roads or routes, you know, Victory Road, the Elite Four, the champion stuff. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just got the city, the ranking system, the zones, and you could just pack so much in there. This is placed in the same town where we got to ride around on Go-Go. Like, I don't know I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're a Pokemon fan and you played the Pokemon games for a while. And if you played Pokemon X and Y, you would remember that you could ride around the city in your Go-Go. You can't even do that. Like, you don't get no rollerblades, you don't get a bike, you don't get a skateboard, you don't get anything to make traversing the city interesting. You can't fly your Pokemon, you can't like swim with your Pokemon. It's like the soul was stripped out of it, right? And I really hate saying that because, like, cliche motherfuckers say that all the time when they're talking about a remake or a re-release, a remaster or whatever of a game, and certain aspects of the original aren't there, and these are like things that you wouldn't notice unless you stop to look at it, right? And I feel like it's nice when a developer puts little touches in their game that you'll only notice if you stop to stare, right? They don't expect people to stop and stare, but if you do, you get a little bit of extra world building, a little bit of extra oomph in your world, in the game world that you're in. But I'm talking about like big things that make a region feel like its own thing. But Lumio City and ZA, it feels empty. It just feels empty, right? And then there's like a lot of other stuff around the game that they did that I don't like, but that doesn't really matter in terms of the game, right? Like okay, the DLC stuff, the mega dimensions and all that whatnot, that isn't bad in itself. It just makes it more of a compound problem, right? It's like you take the lack of detail, the lack of care, the lack of like, I don't know, like inspiration, like all this is just feeling, right? Like it's not like I pointed at some things like the inability to ride your Pokemon or fly around with them, and the lack of transportation types, and the fact that it's just a city and like you don't even have like a region to explore. You just got like a couple weird areas to explore. And on top of that, it's like, I know Pokemon isn't known for story or like deep lore or anything like that, but it's just like, it's like they cut down on so much. You would have thought that they would have made up for it in other areas, but they didn't, and it's like they don't care. It feels like they don't care, and they're just going through the motions, if that makes sense, right? Does that make sense that they're just going through the motions at this point? Like, I know this probably gonna be like blasphemy, but I feel like Pokemon is becoming Call of Duty in terms of just releasing things year after year or every 2 years, and it's like there's so much that they could do to like please the Pokemon fans, right? Cause like think about what have they put out that is like something for the fans just to enjoy, right? You don't have to spend money on microtransactions or buy a in-game currency, or it's just a game that's just meant to be fun. It's just for the fun of the game, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's a deadline that they gotta meet, and they have to meet it regardless. So they just do what they can with what they can. And then unfortunately, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And again, it's nothing wrong with enjoying the games for what they are. That's fine. Okay, if you loved Pokemon ZA and you really enjoyed every aspect of it to its fullest, that is no discredit to your enjoyment, to your happiness. Okay, I'm not saying that you did not enjoy the game and you're not as happy as you could have been. I just don't want the day to come where you realize Pokemon really don't care no more. They have all these different genres, categories. They basically, they got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Rangers, Pokemon, people have been clamoring for Pokemon, like a remake or a re-release of Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, and Pokemon Coliseum. But it's like even that is such a poor attempt at pleasing their community. Like, take for example the online Nintendo Switch Online thing and the expansion pass, which this is like it's Pokemon related, but it's also like a larger issue with Pokemon, but with Nintendo and like everything. But it's like, to play the GameCube games on their like online series, you gotta get the expansion pack, and you paying for it, right? So you would think that it would be of quality, but it's not, right? Like the Nintendo 64 emulator thing, it's an emulator. It's not like they took the code of the game and made like a ROM for Switch or whatever. They just took the original Nintendo Switch files, which they probably got off of some emulator site or from some emulator site that they took down, and uploaded it. And like that, it's not even optimized. It could lag, it can I guess if you have frame rate issues, resolution issues, freezing, crashing, and it's just like, this is how much you guys care about your company. It's how much you care about your fans. And I just was so mad. I was so mad. And again, I'm not mad at the people who enjoy Pokemon and who are excited about this game. I'm mad at Nintendo / the Pokemon Company for not respecting their fans and doing right by them, right? Like that. Like, am I really tripping? Because I could be tripping. I could totally be tripping, and that's why like I'm like so mad, because I'm like wilding. Why am I so mad on behalf of people who are happy? Why am I, like, I don't want people to be mad at Nintendo. I just want them to want better for it, right? Like, I believe that you know what? Okay, I don't think having a bad game is wrong, right? Like, enjoying a bad game is fine, right? Guilty pleasures and all that, but it is ultimately the it's the naivete. I don't know if I said that right, but like, put it like this, okay? Pokemon has lost its character, right? Like, it's like, this isn't really showing the look at this, look at this, right? It's got the meme, it's got a JKK meme in the back, the 3 starters, it's got who am I gonna pick? And like fucking the professor, what's his name, Professor Birch is just back there getting pimp slapped by this Poochyena, right? That's character. Like, they remember this scene. This is because that scene was memorable to this person. Alright? It was memorable to this person. This scene stood out. And they created this piece of artwork from that scene. But, like, is there any scene like that in Pokemon ZA that someone would create art for? Right? And I'm not talking about the characters, okay? Because there's plenty of art of Corbin, the Syndicate guy. I forgot what they were called, but there's a lot of art of him and other characters. but there's no art of moments, right? Does that make sense? There's no moments of art, of like, just looking through this. Look at that, man. Look at that. There's more effort in this right here than Game Freak or the Pokemon Company or whoever has put in to the last 2 games of Pokemon. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. This is like, don't be mentally unwell, because you'll get mad at shit on behalf of other people, and it's just like, you'll get even more upset at the fact that nothing will change and nothing will be different. It's just all the same. It's just gonna go round and round. This is no. Look at this, a One Piece. Like, come on, man. How can you not see this and want to give 150% to make these games as good as possible? Okay, I'm willing to put my life on it that there won't be any moment in Pokemon Winds and Waves that will inspire this imagery. Okay? Like, this is the thing that I'm like upset about, right? This work of love for a series that the creators couldn't give a fuck about, right? It just hurts, man. It just hurts. And I'm not even getting on the broader subject of like the Nintendo Switch 2 console as a whole, or like their monetization tactics, and you know how they're trying to control every aspect of you owning, not even owning, purchasing the Switch 2. And I'm just like, damn, man. You know, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm really blowing this shit out of proportion. I'm really just fucking tripping. I don't know. But like, it just had reached a boiling point really fast in my head. But you know what? I got it out my system. I'm not really mad about it anymore, because there's nothing I can really do. And it's, you know, people are going to enjoy what they enjoy. And, you know, sometimes people don't want to look at the bad or the signs of where things are leading, right? They just want to stay in that capsule of nostalgia and the world of Pokemon, right? Even if Game Freak fails to create a world equal to what we imagine it's like to live in the Pokemon world, people will still create that world for themselves. They will still have that belief in the Pokemon world, even if the games don't really encapsulate what it means to live in the Pokemon world, what it means to be a Pokemon trainer, what it means to bond with your Pokemon and to face challenges and to become the champion of a region, you know. And that is what that's like, what is going to be like a slow burn, right? Slowly and insidiously, Pokemon will become less and less of itself, because at the end of the day, these companies want to make a profit, and they want to maximize profit. They don't want to make just enough. They want to make more. They want to make all of it, and they're not gonna sacrifice, you know, their net gains, right? Like, they're not gonna spend 70 million, right? Like, that's just a ball. But I don't know if that's a real number or not, that went into making the latest Pokemon game or whatever. No, it wasn't. It was like 150,000 or something. I don't know. That could be a fake number. I'm not sure. Don't take me at face value for any of this. all speculation, right? But if like their goal is to spend as little money as possible making a product and then making as much money from said product, that's the point that I'm driving home, I guess. I don't know, but I got it out my system. That's it. This, if you're somehow coming across this and you came across Crystalline Bar Clips or Crystalline Eclipse Bar, I can't even remember my own fucking YouTube channel name. Crystalline Eclipse Bar. I'm Ikari. Nice to meet you. Sorry that the first time we are interacting with each other, I'm complaining about Pokemon and being very confused and annoyed at the whole situation. But, hopefully, you did find it somewhat interesting or entertaining or funny or whatever. I don't know. Click that like or click that subscribe. Leave a comment. If you're an avid Pokemon fan or you really like Nintendo or the Pokemon Company, and you disagree with me, and you want to share your thoughts with me, I'm more than happy to hear. I will read through your comments and take in your thoughts and opinions, widen my view of things. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna cut this up, edit it, and upload it to the channel. See ya in the next video.